Audiobook Confession of a Fake High-Value Man. Go ahead, start recording. You don't have to look at me like that. I know why I'm here. I know what you think this is. You think I finally got caught. You think I went too far this time. You think this is where I admit it all and then you decide what happens to me. That's fine. I'll tell you everything. Yes, I lied. I didn't stretch the truth. I didn't exaggerate. I didn't frame things optimistically. I didn't accidentally mislead anyone. I lied on purpose. I knew it wasn't true when I said it. I knew people would talk. I knew some would hate me for it. I knew others would quietly root for me to fail just so they could say they were right. I said it anyway. You want specifics? You look like you want specifics. People always do. They think details are where the guilt lives. So let's start with the girl, since that's always where everyone starts. Yes, I lied to get her. I knew she was out of my league the first time I saw her. Not in the cute, insecure way people say that. I mean objectively. She had options. Better ones. Safer ones. Guys who already had the things I was still talking about. I told her I owned a business. I told her I was an entrepreneur. I told her I lived big. None of that was true in the way she assumed it was. At the time, I was barely holding my shit together. I had ideas. Sure, I had ambition. I had plans stacked on top of plans. But I didn't have proof. I didn't have the house. I didn't have the car. I didn't have the lifestyle that matched the way I talked. She asked questions. I answered them confidently. I didn't say, maybe. I didn't say, hopefully. I didn't say, one day. I spoke like it already existed. People noticed. They said I was fake. They said I was fronting. They said she'd figure it out and leave. They said I was setting myself up to be humiliated. They waited for the moment she'd see me for what I really was. It didn't happen. You want to know what else I lied about? The small stuff. The everyday stuff. The stuff people pretend doesn't matter. Want to know the truth? You can't handle the truth. I know, quote from a famous movie, but you tell me, I'm going to tell you a story, and you tell me if this is a lie or the truth. If I stop talking right now because you didn't hit the like button and didn't subscribe, I can assure you, your life will be shit. But I promise you, I guarantee that your life will be the best ever, and all you have to do is hit the like button and subscribe, and within the next 30 days you're going to get a miracle? You tell me, is that a lie or the truth? I wouldn't risk it, so hit the like button and subscribe now. I'll wait. Where'd I leave off? Oh yeah, she'd put on these awful jeans. Truly awful. Cut wrong. Didn't flatter her at all. She'd turn around and ask, do these make me look fat? I told her she looked amazing. That was a lie. She'd talk about singing, about maybe doing something with her voice. People told her it was unrealistic. They told her to be practical. They told her not to get her hopes up. I told her she had the most beautiful voice I'd ever heard. That was a lie too. You're probably writing this down like it's evidence. Like this is where I hang myself. I can see it in your face. You're thinking, there it is. Manipulation. Good. Hold on to that. Because I didn't stop there. I lied to everyone around me. I told people I was buying a mansion while I lived in a rundown townhome with no AC. I told them casually, like it was obvious, like it was already done. I'd say things like, yeah, I'm moving over there, and point to neighborhoods I had no business even driving through. People laughed, not quietly, out loud. They knew where I lived. They'd been there. They'd seen the peeling paint, the busted parking lot, the neighbors who looked permanently defeated. They knew my car. They knew my bank account wasn't touching anything with a gate or a security booth. They said I was embarrassing myself. They said I was delusional. They said I was lying. They were right. I'd spend weekends touring open houses I couldn't afford. I'd walk through these massive places, marble floors, ceilings so high the sound echoed when you talked. I'd look out over views that didn't belong to me yet. Real estate agents would ask, so what do you do? I'd tell them. I didn't lower my voice. I didn't hedge. I didn't apologize for being there. I'd say, I'm buying this house. Sometimes they'd smile politely. Sometimes they'd look confused. Sometimes they'd clearly clock me as someone wasting their time. I didn't care. I went anyway. Same thing with the car. I test drove a Dodge Viper knowing damn well I couldn't afford it. I didn't do it secretly. I didn't sneak in. I didn't pretend I was just looking. I told the salesman I was buying it. He asked what I drove. I pointed to my old Land Rover sitting there like a joke next to everything else in the lot. Friends found out. That one really pissed them off. Why would you test drive a car you can't afford? What's the point? Who are you trying to impress? They said I was fake. They said I was living in a fantasy. They said I was lying to myself. They were right about that too. I told people at work I was closing the biggest client of my career before it happened, before there were meetings, before there were numbers, before there was any reason to believe it. Other people closed bigger deals that year. They made sure I knew it. They joked about it. They reminded me. They used my own words against me. Still got that big client? Guess that one didn't work out. Another lie, huh? That's when it stuck. I became that guy. The liar. The one who talked too big. The one who said things before he earned the right to say them. People watched me closely after that. They tracked my life. They waited for the collapse. They expected the lies to catch up to me. I knew that. I didn't back down. You're probably wondering why. Why keep lying when it's clearly not working yet? Why not shut up? Why not wait until you actually had something to show? Because I didn't want a quiet life. I wanted the life I was talking about, and I was willing to look insane chasing it. Here's the part you're really not going to like. I didn't lie because I knew it would all come true. I lied knowing it might not. I knew there was a real possibility I'd never get the house, never get the car, never get the client, never deserve the girl. If that happened, then fine. I would have still been a liar. I accepted that. People think liars are scared of being exposed. They're wrong. The real fear is staying small, staying silent, staying believable. I wasn't afraid of being called fake. I was afraid of never even trying. So I kept going. I kept saying things out loud that weren't true yet. I kept letting people judge me. I kept letting them laugh. I kept letting them wait for me to fail. And yes, I lied to get loyalty too. I told clients I would do things for them before I could actually do them. I told them I would get them outcomes that hadn't happened yet. I told them I'd take care of them when others wouldn't. The first time, it didn't work. The second time, it didn't work. The third time, it didn't work either. Other people left. Other people gave up. Other people said, "This isn't worth it." I stayed. I stayed because I'd already said I would. And every time someone called me a liar, I just nodded, because they weren't wrong. Not yet. You still think this ends with me getting what I deserve. I can see it in the way you're sitting there. Arms crossed, pen ready, waiting for the moment the story collapses and you get to say, "There it is." That's the consequence. That's where the lies finally cost him everything. You're waiting for the punishment. That's why you're listening so closely, because people don't really want the truth. They want the sentence. So let me keep going. Because this is the part where it doesn't happen. Years went by like that. Not weeks, not months, years. People forget that part. They think lies either work fast or fail fast. They don't. They just sit there, hanging in the air, waiting to rot or turn solid. Every year someone would remind me of something I said that hadn't happened yet. Didn't you say you were moving? Didn't you say you were buying that car? Didn't you say you were going to close that client? They said it with smiles, with jokes, with that tone people use when they're pretending to be friendly but really just want to watch you bleed a little. I let them. I didn't correct them. I didn't defend myself. I didn't say, "You'll see." I just kept going. I kept showing up to work. I kept talking to clients. I kept walking through neighborhoods I didn't belong in yet. I kept sitting in rooms where people thought I was full of shit. You know what's funny? At some point, the lies stop feeling like lies, not because they've come true, but because you've lived inside them so long they start to feel inevitable, like gravity, like direction. I stopped thinking in terms of if. Everything became when. I still lived in that townhome, still drove the Land Rover, still got looked at sideways when I said things out loud that didn't match my current reality. But something changed. The laughter got quieter. Not because people believed me, but because I didn't flinch anymore. I didn't explain. I didn't react. I didn't adjust my language to make them comfortable. That unsettled people. Then one day, 7 years in, I saw the car, the Dodge Viper. Same color, same sound, same shape. I smiled at first. Honestly, I thought, another asshole pretending. Another guy like me talking big, trying to be something he's not. I almost walked away. Then I saw the garage door open. I didn't recognize the house at first. It took a second. Gated. Long driveway. The kind of place you don't accidentally end up in. The Viper drove in. I stood there longer than I should have. Watched the door close. Not because I was impressed, but because something in my chest tightened. That neighborhood, Piney Creek, the same place I used to point at years ago, the same streets people laughed at me for even mentioning, the same houses I used to walk through pretending. I told myself it was coincidence. Then I saw the Porsche Turbo, parked right next to it. That's when it hit. Not excitement, not joy. Something worse. Recognition. Because I knew exactly how that happened. Not luck, not talent, not overnight success. Time, staying, saying the same thing long enough that reality finally ran out of excuses. That was the first crack. The second came at work. You remember that client everyone mocked me for talking about? The one people used as a punchline? 7 years later, I closed them. Not a small deal. Not a nice recovery. The biggest deal of my career. The kind of deal that makes people stop talking when you walk by. The kind of commission that changes how people say your name. You know what people said then? Nothing. They just stared, because now they had a problem. If I was lying, it worked. If I wasn't lying, they were wrong. Neither option felt good. That client stayed with me because I told them I would win for them before I had proof. I didn't deliver immediately. I didn't even deliver early, but I stayed. I didn't disappear when it wasn't true yet. Others did. Loyalty doesn't come from honesty. It comes from consistency under pressure. People hate hearing that. Then there was the house, the one I talked about for years, the one people used to mock, the one tied to jokes and eye rolls and quiet conversations about how delusional I was. I moved in. Same streets, same views, same silence. Except now the silence wasn't judgment. It was absence. No one had anything to say anymore. That's when it started happening. People who used to laugh started asking questions. How did you do it? When did it change? What was the turning point? They wanted a moment, a trick, a secret. I didn't give them one. Because there wasn't one. There was just time plus tolerance. Then came the girl again. The one you're still convinced I tricked. She stayed. Not because I lied, but because I didn't retreat. People say she believed the lies. They're wrong. She believed me. There's a difference. I told her she was beautiful until she started walking like she believed it. I told her she had a voice until she stopped asking permission. I told her things before they were true. And she grew into them. That pisses people off more than anything, because it exposes something ugly. Most people don't fail because they're lied to. They fail because no one ever spoke to who they could become. And here's the part you still haven't accepted. I didn't know any of this would work. There was no guarantee, no master plan, no promise from the universe. I wasn't manifesting. I wasn't visualizing. I wasn't praying. I was declaring. And I was willing to look like an asshole for as long as it took. That's the part people skip. They want the confidence without the ridicule, the outcome without the years of being wrong, the win without the risk of permanent embarrassment. They want to lie safely. That's not what I did. I lied knowing I might lose everything. I lied knowing I could die with nothing but words that never became real. And yes, if that happened, I would have been exactly what they called me, a liar. But I wasn't afraid of that, because being called a liar is temporary. Living small is permanent. Somewhere along the way, the lies changed. They didn't need defending anymore. They didn't sound crazy anymore. They didn't shock people. They just fit. The mansion stopped being that thing you used to talk about. The car stopped being that joke. The client stopped being that exaggeration. They became facts. And when facts replace accusations, people don't apologize. They just rewrite history. They say things like, "I always knew you'd do well. You were confident back then. You had vision." Those are lies too. But I let them have those, because by then, it didn't matter. You want to know the real confession? I never lied to deceive. I lied to force motion. I said things that weren't true yet, because waiting for permission felt like death. I spoke futures into rooms that didn't want to hear them. I tolerated being hated long enough that reality eventually ran out of ways to contradict me. Some lies rot. Some lies evolve. The difference isn't morality, it's endurance. You can stop the tape now if you want. There's nothing left to confess. You can call me whatever you need to call me. But understand this before you do. If you wait until you're honest enough to say what you want out loud, you'll never say it. And if you never say it, you'll never survive long enough to see whether it could have been true. That's not motivation. That's a warning. End recording.